Hey Dumblies, it's Dave Desai. Welcome back to my channel. Today I want to get into what Suga might have revealed recently about shows and kind of the abuse he goes through, and maybe even BTS members go through while on these shows. Some people believe it's a reference to Korean shows, so I definitely want to talk about that and get into my thoughts on that. I also want to get into Jimin talking about how he couldn't make music and what happened with that. So grab your dumpling, a tea spilling mug merch, and let's get into the tea. If you are new here and you're interested in this type of stuff, please make sure to hit the subscribe button and that notification bell to be notified anytime a new video drops. Any of you who's a hater, like to be first to leave your hate comment, please make sure to hit the subscribe button and that notification bell also so you can be first to do so. Now let's jump into it. The first thing I want to get into and talk about is some backstory on BTS and Korean shows. In case you didn't know, so stick with me. It's kind of a thing within the BTS fandom that a lot of Koreans aren't exactly happy with BTS's decision to not be on Korean TV shows. They were on Korean TV shows like talk shows, and even Taeyang did a K-drama before, but that was all in the past and has been many years since they did anything like that anymore. There was an incident where Jungkook was allegedly treated really poorly during a show, like when he bought hamburgers for everyone on set and they rejected it. It may not seem like a huge deal, but at the time, Jungkook was new and he probably was trying so hard to impress everyone and just try to be included. Obviously, a rejection like that isn't just a rejection, because in Asian cultures, and I'm sure many other cultures, but you should accept the gift if it's given to you, and people will take it personally when you don't. Other times there's talk shows that maybe just ask dumb questions and questions people don't care about. But American talk shows also do this, and we will get into this later. So incidents like that happen often enough that I theorize one of the reasons they have shows like Run BTS or Bon Voyage or In the Soup. I do react to those on my Patreon, just FYI, link down below. But I thought they created these shows because they were just sick of the abuse or something like that. But there apparently might be more behind the scenes. Honestly, I wasn't expecting this at all, and I wanted to unpack it because there's a lot of people talking about this and haven't been in the industry, so they don't really know and the information is not correct. Recently, Suga was doing his Weverse magazine interview. Weverse is also a media company that they basically created and now host a lot of different artists. It's a social media site, but it looks like they're trying to make it the next big media site to keep up with your artists, as you can't be an artist on the platform without being signed or having some relation with big hits. So the magazine portion of the site did an interview on each member. One of the questions that had been circulating was one that asked Suga, "It's no exaggeration to say you've achieved most of the things that you can as an artist in the music industry. What steps do you think are necessary for the artists who follow after BTS?" Great question, and Suga responded, "The way artists work seems so difficult. They make an appearance on a different music show every day once the promotional period begins, meaning the exhaustion artists face is enormous, and the fatigue often results in injuries as it adds up. That kind of music show for promotional purposes, so it's not like the artist can earn a proper income from them. On top of that, despite all the promoting, there is no visible outcome, so they inevitably lose morale. If possible, it'd be nice to have one of the performances be really high quality, even if it's just the one, but in this environment, I'd say that's pretty difficult. And since our job doesn't fit the common conception of work, there's ambiguous boundaries when it comes to issues of legal protection as well. We need a lot of improvements to be made in this industry and its system. One of the biggest misconceptions is that artists get paid to be on shows like Ellen or Jimmy Fallon or whatever talk show. This is standard in entertainment. They do not pay those artists. The artists are almost doing an advertisement for their album and song by going on the show. And typically, if artists would want to be on the show really badly, and let's say they're smaller, they may even pay the show just to go on. So no, BTS makes no money from these shows, and I can definitely imagine it's frustrating because you don't know if being on the show actually has any effect on album sales, and they're stressing themselves out over that, or whether it be dumb questions or whatever. So why do they quit Korean talk shows and not American ones? Well, my theory is that they're already big in Korea, huge. They don't need to suffer more to be on those shows, and to be quite honest, the Korean talk shows have a smaller audience anyway, whereas the American talk shows are seen literally around the world and are huge. So there's more impact and more possibility of getting more sales from being on the American shows. So they'll deal with the abuse in an American show because it's more worth it. Some sites were saying that American shows must pay more or whatever. Again, not true. They do not pay. In fact, what may even be more shocking to you guys, artists do not get paid to perform at the Super Bowl. Zero. The NFL does not cover the cost of the performance, crew, stage, anything. But would you not want to perform there? The biggest stage in the world. Of course, it sucks to also risk your health doing these shows. As you can imagine, it is extremely stressful with them having to practice relentlessly for a few days just so it looks good on the show. But it is a part of being an artist. I do agree there needs to be law changes, but it's such a small percentage of people that get to do this type of thing that there aren't laws for it. A lot of celebrity laws are very laxed. Stalker laws are not as tight when it's a celebrity celebrity. Taking photos of them in compromising situations is not considered illegal unless you're in Japan. Sometimes celebrity nudes get leaked, and the laws still do nothing about it because they're a public figure and belong to the public. I'm always so happy to hear BTS living their life and doing new things. I can't wait to see even more. However, I was very shocked to hear that Jimin apparently has been so burnt out, he was actually unable to make music anymore. And this made me so sad. Recently, during his interview with Weverse magazine, they talked about his struggles with learning English and of course how he felt going into the US market. Obviously, you sing English differently than when you sing Korean, and the pronunciation is different. He felt like every song he did felt like when he had his first debut and how it was like his first time doing it. I can imagine for several reasons. One, finding and creating melodies that Americans enjoy, but also learning the lyrics and singing certain words in certain ways and figuring out what the lyrics mean. I'm sure when they just started, they didn't have a big grasp on lyrical concepts, and that is something maybe Jimin had to relearn now doing English songs. But Jimin talked about how when this happened, he felt like he hit a wall. The interviewer said, it felt like you had to meet all sorts of conditions. You had to keep it breezy and hit high notes, all while maintaining your unique voice. To which Jimin replied saying, I guess you can call it the song that most made me think like I was just starting out again. I think I practiced harder than ever before. I think I worked extremely hard to have my own unique style. But then I hit a wall and had to go back to the beginning and find a new way. And I went over it a lot with Jungkook. What if I sang it like this? Or what about this way? How should I practice? I asked so many questions like that and practiced a lot too. But I enjoyed the process. At one point I was like, I can get that kind of voice out of my throat too. Even though it didn't make it onto the final recording, I tried doing different ad-libs while singing other parts, and I found my strength that way. I think it's so normal to be like English is easy and expect that everyone should just know English and that it should have been no struggle for them to make English music, but it is. Any new language is extremely difficult to learn given they don't speak English normally, and singing in another language, I mean, that's just not an easy thing to do. Korean and English are not too different. It can be easier for someone to learn Korean and English if you know one of the languages, because Korean is not a tonal language. But, big buts, anyone who has tried singing BTS Korean songs will be able to tell me how difficult it is. I hope the boys find this new struggle to be something they can learn from and be excited to do something different and new. They've been doing a similar thing for many years now to finally be able to get a different type of music to make, which can be an interesting experience for them. I hope they can see it more as a challenge and less as a struggle starting over. I can see how frustrating that could be for them if they felt like they were starting over. They've done this for so long, and to be like, okay, everything you know about music out the window and try this. It's frustrating. One of the biggest skills I think we as humans in 2021 need to know is how to unlearn and relearn. Any of you who are out of college should know this. Likely what you've studied in college is not what you're doing for a living. This is not to discourage people from going to college, but it is what happened. I obviously did not study the art of YouTube at a university, but taking what I knew about film, editing, and all that, unlearning that and relearning how to edit videos for social media, which is different from film, was an experience, and I almost felt defeated. Shows how strong BTS is for being able to accept that and take on the challenge. Let me know what you think. Let me know what your thoughts are. Leave it in the comment section down below. Give this video a thumbs up, subscribe if you haven't already, and I'm featuring this comment right here. Thank you guys so much for leaving comments. And as always, I do have a Patreon if you want to go over there and check that out. I have a lot of videos over there that I can't really post on here. This is due to copyright or getting taken down, so to keep it over there on my Patreon. You can get videos over there like music video reactions, performance reactions, ship reactions. You can also get TV show reactions, as I mentioned earlier, as well as I do send out photo cards and postcards every month, and we have a great time interacting with each other over there as well. Link is in the top description down below. There's also a video over there that kind of goes over how you can support this channel even more if you would like to do that. That video is on the front page and it's free to watch. With that said, there's two videos that will appear up on screen at the end of this video, so click on one of those and I'll see you over there. Bye.